Welcome to the Good Karma Sportfishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet.
And welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet. This is my main podcast episode for the week for Good Karma Success Coach. And I asked Ryan, Captain Ryan of Good Karma Sportfishing, to be my co-host because I'm getting ready to launch my first big course, Content Creation Success Strategies, which starts September 1st. And I was having a trip down memory lane, and it was a big trip. No drugs, people. Just looking, just looking at some pictures.
Just pictures. Oh my gosh.
Lollapalooza just happened last week, so that brought back some memories.
Not for me. I had to work. I didn't have any money to go to any concerts. Actually,
long time ago.
I spent my summers tending bar and trying to pay my college bills off.
So this is a bonus for Ryan's audience, a bonus episode for the week for Ryan's audience. And I also wanted to include him because if anyone in Ryan's audience is an online entrepreneur, a marketer, a coach, or a speaker, or has someone they know, or maybe their spouse or partner or girlfriend or boyfriend, we don't know who's listening out there.
Yeah.
We just see the numbers all over the world, and we are very grateful, but we don't know pretty much, maybe a couple people tell us, that they're listening, but we just see these numbers and we are just kind of speaking into a void. So I thought this episode would be fun to have Ryan on because we're going to take a little trip down memory lane and talk about Jimy Jigs, which was a business we had years ago, but it was under Good Karma Sportfishing. It was in the umbrella as a DBA, as a separate side shoot, I guess you could say, a subset of that brand. And Ryan was a big part of that. And it was quite an interesting experience and an amazing experience for about 2 years that we're really grateful for, and we learned a lot. And I use a lot of those learnings and lessons and hindsights in my coaching business, which is why I'm always grateful for the experiences that I have. Some people look at experiences sometimes as bad things, but honestly, nothing's ever bad because it's always a way to learn and grow and move forward, and then in my case, help others. So after that long introduction, welcome, Ryan.
Hey, I'm here. But with Jimy Jigs, I wasn't really there. And that's why I'm not saying a lot. I was not. I had the, Melinda was the one that came up with the idea.
I had the idea. So Ryan was communicating with Jimy in Mexico, and Jimy, his name's Jimy, sent Ryan a jig. And I looked at the jig and was like, hey, I wonder if we can market these and sell these. There's nothing quite like this in the United States. And Ryan was like, okay.
I was like, oh boy.
But my background is retail in sales and in product development and as a buyer. So I'm a very well-rounded small business owner as far as all of the things you need in the retail world. And we had already had so much experience already in content creation with websites, newsletters. Social media was just starting to percolate. So Ryan was cool with handling the Instagram and actually managing the Instagram piece of it, which grew very rapidly. And we kind of took it from there, and we went down a path of just trying so many different cool things and avenues. And like I said, some things work and some things don't work, but it was overall an amazing experience.
Yeah, it was the start. Basically, when we started Jimy Jigs, it was the start of Instagram marketing.
Mm-hmm. And it just started.
It had just started, and the start of influencer marketing as well. And everybody was just trying to figure it out. And Jimy Jigs USA was the one of the first products that went into Instagram in that vertical jig. to use influencer marketing.
Yep. So Ryan had been doing a lot of posting. And during that time, and this is what I really want to get across to people, because my course is going to be encompassing tactical strategies and tips across all platforms and ways of communication, but also mindset, manifestation, and law of attraction. So when we started Jimy Jigs, at the same time, we noticed, because Ryan at this time was watching fishing shows on TV, we saw a certain former basketball player named Jared Jeffries playing, actually, he was fishing and jigging, and he had a jigging show where he traveled and, did a fishing show jigging. And we don't know Jared, but I looked at Ryan and I said, we're going to end up working with Jared, and Jared is going to work with us and use the jigs on the show and be an influencer for us. And what did you think?
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
Another
okay moment. Okay moment. I'm going fishing. And that's how it was. I mean, honestly, guys, I did not want to participate in the social media.
So, and if you follow us, because I've said this many times, that I have an idea, I say it to Ryan. If he doesn't say no, it's a yes. And that's how this whole podcast got started with him. Was I said, hey, you're going to be a podcaster. You're going to do a podcast. And he was like, just stared at me. But he didn't say no. So it became a yes. 3 years later, he has his podcast. So what ended up happening was I manifested working with Jared Jeffries.
That's a true story.
And this is absolutely
true.
So also, if you know me, I am a put together woman. I dress up, I wear skirts and heels, and my hair is done, and makeup and jewelry. And in between my own sales business, which did over $2 million a year, I was also calling on bait and tackle shops, cold calling them, walking into bait and tackle shops, all dressed up, because I'm not going to dumb myself down because I'm on the road. I'm also selling my other things. But bait and tackle shops tend to open at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. before my former customers, because I'm not a sales rep anymore, but before my former customers opened. So I could strategize going into bait and tackle shops before I would begin my normal sales day, right? So I would go in to these crusty old bait and tackle shop owners. Yeah. And believe me, there's plenty of those out there. Not all of them, but there's definitely plenty of those. And I would strategize my route through Florida. I went all over Florida, knocking on doors. Because the thing that I learned about Florida is every part of Florida, even the Keys, all fishes differently. It's not just like a big lake where everyone kind of fishes the same. Oh no, you quickly learn that certain parts, they might have to travel, like in St. Augustine, for example, they have to go in their boat for quite a while before they get out to the ocean. So that customer base has to think about gas money. So selling them a $22 retail jig was kind of out of the price point for St. Augustine, for example. So you learn this as you're going, right? So one of the clients that I called on was Jack Carlson of Two Conks in Marathon, who is a stand-up guy. If you know who he is, he's got a big audience. He's very, very successful business owner, and he is just as nice as can be. And I cold called him, and he ended up buying our jigs. He was one of our top customers. He used them on his charters. He had an idea for a color, and I don't want to give that away because if that's still his secret color, we'll keep that with him. And he was really cool. And what ended up happening that I noticed was from watching the TV shows that he had a relationship with Jared. So click, 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 click. I ended up asking Jack if he could introduce us to Jared, which he did. And we ended up meeting with Jared and Jared's agent, I want to say, at ICAST that year.
Yes.
And then we started working together.
Yep.
So it all was manifested. And because I continued to take action and do the thing, I was cold calling the stores and had the courage to cold call Jack Carlson, who is very successful. Most people would be probably a little nervous to call him. He's a busy guy. And he ended up hooking us up with Jared Jeffries. And the rest is history. Jared ended up promoting our jigs on his show many times and was a super, super nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy. He did a lot for our business. He even put the logo up on the show for us.
Even when he couldn't use a jig because of weather.
Yeah, even when he couldn't use the jigs because of weather. So it was just a very good learning experience how things can happen for people in the business if you put it out there. So we were able to work with some amazing fishermen. Bouncer.
Yeah, Bouncer was awesome. Yep. Super nice guy. He ended up inviting us to an event. He was speaking at an event up at what's the name of his boat? The brand
at the Dusky.
Thank you. At the Dusky boat dealer, and had invited us up for an evening so we could showcase the jigs as he gave a presentation. So that was a cool opportunity that happened from manifesting, working with some influencers, and then taking action and doing the thing. Some people get nervous. It takes a lot of confidence to call on these people, to have a vision, and then to keep taking action towards it. But that confidence can be built over time. Was it me being like some supernatural person? No, it wasn't the easiest. I was nervous. I was probably a little sweaty that day, but I still did it. I believed in myself and Ryan and the bigger vision, and I still did it. And when I was thinking about all the things we did too, we did a speaking event with a fishing club in Miami.
Yeah, we did a speaking event. That was my first public speaking event that I did. I was very nervous because I'm speaking in a room full of people, and I spoke at Bouncer's event. That event had over 150 to 200 people there stuffed in that warehouse that day. You want to talk about being nervous. Coming from a person I just didn't like being on social media, and I didn't like people knowing who I was, and I was just very private. So it was a big breakthrough for me. And they put a microphone on me. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But that Bouncer was very supportive. So.
Yeah. So my course that launches September 1st is 12 weeks. It's every other week a module, and on the opposite weeks is going to be a live workshop with me where we can talk about whatever you need that is in conjunction with the course. And we're going to be covering mindset things, tactical things across all platforms. If you follow me, I've already written 2 books by myself. I've also done a co-authored book series. We have an app, 3 podcasts between the 2 of us, newsletters. Ryan's is monthly, mine is weekly. I have 2 websites. Ryan has a website. I wrote all the copy for all of the websites. Yes, we have a developer who helps us on the back end, and he's great, but he is not creative. The creativity comes from myself and from Ryan. So all of the things that you see, blogs, the content across all platforms, these are things that I can help you with. I can help you with from a confidence standpoint. I can help you with from mindset. I can help you with the tactical. I can help you with understanding different things on different platforms that have really helped our businesses learn and grow. And people may be like, oh, well, Melinda, you don't have thousands and thousands of followers. Yeah, you're right. I didn't use bots.
Yeah.
I don't do follow, unfollow. I didn't pay for ads. All those things that most people have done and they hated. And Ryan hasn't either. So for over 10 years, I've been behind the scenes helping Ryan build his business, while with my sales business, social media wasn't necessary. So I didn't do it. And then when I decided that it was about time to become a coach, because I was ready and so excited to start sharing what I know with other women to help them move forward, get unstuck, and achieve success in their lives, I'm like, well, it's time for me to go on social media too. So
right. It's funny, but there's so many different products coming out now. Shirts, hooks, lines, lures, and I'm like, do they realize how much work it is? I mean, it's just really, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And there's a lot more to it than what you think there is.
There is. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of dynamics. There's a lot of things that you constantly have to be learning and tweaking and doing. And a lot of people get overwhelmed and they give up. And it's really how you're being in the void before things start to happen is where you need some coaching and some confidence, because that's where people give up. That's where people quit. Because just because you started a business today, that does not mean it's going to be successful tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. You have to put in the time, you have to figure out the energetics, and you have to keep learning and evolving. And that's why being part of programs and courses and working with coaches and also having a support team within your life is really, really, really important.
It's very important. It's very important, especially the way that things are out there now.
Mm-hmm.
Very important.
Yeah. So I have so many more Jimy Jigs stories, but I don't want this to be a super long podcast.
Jimy Jig stories.
Because Ryan
many Jimy Jig stories.
Yes. But again, it was an amazing experience. The reason why we stopped made perfect sense for us because it just wasn't going to be a good business model anymore if what the other person wanted to do in Mexico. And you know what? That's okay. We moved on and other great things have happened since then. And again, it was just a great learning experience that now I can use those learnings to help others with their business, for them to move forward, build confidence, get unstuck, and be successful.
I've met a lot of great people. I met a lot of great people through my time when we had Jimy Jigs, and I've met a lot of guys we've stayed friends with over the years, and it's just been, everything happens for a reason.
Oh, and one more quick memory on this one, because we were talking about speaking in public, and one was a bait and tackle store in Worth. Oh my God, I'd have to check my notes. Had me on their TV show.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I wouldn't go.
Ryan wouldn't go.
I refused to go.
And it was live. It was their live weekly TV show out of this little bait and tackle shop. But it was a good shop, and he was a really good customer. I feel bad I can't remember his name, but super nice guy, actually. And then Rob from kayaking.
Yeah. Rob Rodriguez
came for support, and I was so appreciative.
Rob Rodriguez did is a badass kayak fisherman. He has won several extreme kayak championships, and Rob was very supportive of Jimy Jigs and was there with us, and he really stepped up to the plate to help Melinda. I just wouldn't do it.
Ryan's like, I'm not going.
I have severe stage fright back then, and I didn't want people to see what I look like. I just I did not like social media or being out in the public.
So talk about how much confidence you have built over the years since then. Because now you've done several YouTubes with Brooke and Victor.
Yep.
You do your own lives. You do all the things now. So people, if you are struggling, you can get there too. Like, none of this was built in a day. It's all built over time, taking the actions. Every action leads to more confidence. And then before you know it, you're like, holy shit, look at all the crap I've done.
Yeah. That was pain.
But yeah, you would not come with me. He's like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So Rob was super cool, and he didn't live too far away. So he was like, I'll be there. I'll support you. And he came and hung out with me while I did the live TV show in this bait and tackle shop.
I just won't go. Yeah. I just didn't want to go.
Oh, and you also gave me props for going into these bait and tackle shops.
Oh my God, into these shops. It's so funny, but this is long before slow pitch jigging. And when we did this, and slow pitch was still very small. And I see a lot of guys now that were buyers of Jimy Jigs or avid slow pitch guys. So slow pitch jigs, or if you know anything about them and the equipment, it's so expensive. So we'd go into these tackle shops in these areas around Miami and up by Pompano Beach and Boynton, and those guys just turned their noses at them, a lot of them, because of the cost. But now I look at them, these tackle shops, and they're the first ones to sell you a $30 jig. So we were the first.
$22.
Yeah, $22. So we were the first.
Retail, yeah.
Retail, as far as a vertical jig goes, to sell at that price. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, it took a lot of courage and confidence to walk into these little bait and tackle shops with the dudes. But not all of them were nasty. A lot of them were very nice.
Yeah, a lot of them were nice.
And I had to go with that faith that some were going to be really nice to me and some were probably going to be dicks. Yeah. And it was just a crapshoot until you walk in the door. You don't know till you go, right?
Exactly. Just like fishing. You don't know until you go. If you have that confidence to go in. One thing about tackle shops is they got to see that product. They got to see it in their hands. They want to feel it. They want to use it. And then, that's how it went,
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you so much for listening. I hope you loved this podcast. And please check out the link. Ryan will have it in his show notes too for the course. Again, Content Creation Success Strategies. It starts September 1st. It's 12 weeks long and it's going to be jam-packed with so much value. It will be the best program you have ever taken in your life. And that is my commitment to you. So, and you will have my attention. I'm a coach who listens. I'm a coach that's just not going to put you in a Facebook group for admins to handle. I will be there to help you every step of the way. And you will have clear strategy, direction, and be able to move forward and achieve success and make money online in your business. And I cannot wait to work with you. So please reach out and check out that link.
Yep, and you get access to my secret weapon. That's Melinda.
That's nice.
That is the secret weapon to how I catch fish. And once you go into the course, you'll see why. So there's a lot more to it than what I do besides just putting baits out and stuff. So, yeah. So anyways.
So thank you for listening. Please share if you know someone else who will be interested. This will be my focus of content for the next 2 weeks. So check it out. And I will be sharing more stories that will help you along the way. So keep in touch and connect on the socials. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. And remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good.